The big idea.
Hey,
Hi. Hi.
we're recording now. Maybe we've
Okay.
just done an amazing episode for you. Maybe no one's gonna get to watch that. That's the way this cookie has crumbled maybe this morning.
Some cookies crumble. Some crumble one way. Some crumble other ways.
Where
The way this cookie crumbled?
not good. Rala,
No.
dun, dun, Rala,
Bam, baby. Dun, dun. The big idea. Bum,
bum,
bum.
bum. Rala,
Bam, baby. Okay, the big idea today is impermanence.
That's actually totally right.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Hey, you know what about impermanence? Yuck. And do you know what actually was a lot of what we talked about in the last episode was like grasping onto things for sureness and then being Lada's eyes twitching. And being like, you can't.
Yeah. Obviously, I want to. For me, part of the hardest part
Part of the hardest part would be
to understand for real that for real it doesn't stay. Whatever it was. I have a sense of that not being the case in one way and a real sense of it totally being the case in another way. I know I can hold those two things for certain. But you know what is the truth about this? That I usually forget that things are one way. That's maybe how my brain works around impermanence. Like I just forget that like we just did an amazing episode. We'll keep referring to it. And we found our way there. We absolutely got to the place where we wanted to go. I forget we can do that. I know it's somewhere, but I forget we can do it. And there is something about that like mechanism that I employ in my brain. My subconscious goes sleepy.
which was a great thing we learned.
Which was a great thing we learned about a movie I watched. Um, yeah, this is like just sort of like a way in which my brain turns off and doesn't allow me to continue gripping, even though what I want is to like have a rigid idea of whatever is going on. I can't because I simply forget.
Explain this more. What do you forget? You forget that
Things are one way. And they're
that's
not.
I feel like also that things aren't one way.
No, like the way in which I cannot be rigid is not for lack of trying. I literally do think that this is true.
It's true that when this was happening, the way that your face looked, the sadness on your face, like I didn't have that. Also, you were having to deal with it. So the thing disappeared from your computer, you're searching, you're feeling like you have done something wrong.
Yeah.
I am not feeling like that. I'm like, oh, shoot. I'm like, oh, that was a good one. Oh,
but
well.
it's a good example. It is a good example because it's like, shoot, that was a good one. Yeah, for me, I go, it's lost.
Yeah.
Everything doesn't hold. No. But also, I'm not going, everything is always lost. I'm also not going like that.
Yeah.
The sense of it isn't like everything always ends, nothing is something we can grab onto because that would make me sad.
I think too, like we had this conversation in the car the last time we were together. And I said something like it was like the way that I feel about everything we just said in that episode, like that was really good. Like just now I was like, oh, we talked really nice about our friends fringe shows and like we did that for like a long time and like we want people to know about that. We got to do that again. Like I just had this feeling like, oh, that does like suck that we like we were so earnestly like saying this and now we're gonna recreate it, whatever. So I have some of that. I have some of this like regret, like we lost the thing, we got to do the thing again. But what I also have is like this thing that's like all we just like show it's like show basically I'm really smart and probably I invented Buddhism. I feel like we just show up at the stream and the stream is different, but like it's the same stream. Like I'm like, oh, we got to where we talk to each other and we sound the same when we talk to each other, and whatever we said was like what was flowing down the stream then, but like it's what we're always like when we talk to each other. So
I don't have this feeling of people will never understand. I
people
don't
will
have,
never understand.
but I do have this sense of like, it is hard for me to let stuff pass. But I was thinking that because like one way that I relate to I have many people in my life that relate to um life in a more rigid way. And I have a real understanding of them. It's not hard for me to get how their brain works. And I'm going, but what is it that's different about me that it lets me put a finger in one pie and a whole ass hand in another?
I do feel like that about you. I feel like too, I'm always surprised by the way you're rigid, I think.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think it's my inclination, but it's not what I've aligned myself with.
Mm.
But I think it's like if you were to see the mold that I was made in, you'd go, "Oh, like that?" I go,
Funny.
"Yeah, I've been doing some reshaping work."
Wow, that's cool.
I have a sense of that being the case. And right now I just sort of thought like memory might be my the way I've hacked it, which like I'm a bit sort of forgetful.
Mm. I think
What
also that is it's a good thing about me. Like that I don't feel like I have cleaved myself to any reality because I'm like just kind of floating to the net. Like I'm like, man, now this is real.
yeah, there's this
Now this is the one we're doing.
I kind of have that too, but I have that with still having the other one though. So
Mm.
I'm like sort of like, okay, well now it's like this. But I think that the space that lets me be that way is because I simply forgot what the other one was like.
That's nice. Okay, I actually think this is connected to a thing I was excited to tell you about,
Yeah,
but you're gonna have to help me connect it, I think, because I have this sense like, oh, this is related,
I
but
love
like
that.
how fun for us to figure out how. Okay, so yesterday I was talking to Marty Gleeson, whose show we
That's
just
the one.
recorded 6 minutes about how awesome it is and how great she is and how uniquely herself and weird and funny and not weird for the sake of weird, but like what an adventure to be.
That's a perfect way to say that. Absolutely. What an adventure it is to be in a room with her.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's like, and that is a choice like she's allowing us to have with her. Like it's not like a wow, she's a space cadet and we're just and if you want to float along in outer space, no, it's like wow, thank you for showing us a different way of thinking is possible by choice. Thanks. Anyway, we're talking about her show last night. We're talking about it for some hours.
Nice.
And we're yeah, and it's awesome. It's an awesome show. It's called Dog Ear. It's playing at the Edinburgh Fringe. You can go to it. One thing we have discovered over the course of making this show is that it is performed by Marty Gleeson, who um has been to the
Let
future.
us know when you're done burping.
That was like a hiccup. Would you call it a burp?
Let us know when your burping is over.
Okay, it's over.
Now go to your papa. Now go on.
Okay, it's performed by Marty Gleeson, who's been to the future. And at first, that was only true for like one joke, and then we were like, I think it's true the whole time. And
Mm.
so then it has provided us with this opportunity to think of everything in the show as her performing a show where she's already performed it and she just gets to go back after like having been an 80-year-old person, like go back and do it for the fun of it and like ride the show and like dance to the next joke because you're like in your young body again and that you like are like you have been 80 years old and now you're 30 something again and you get to like be here to say what you want to say and also like just enjoy it knowing that it already went the way that it went.
Oh my God. Incredibly moving.
I couldn't wait to tell you that.
Oh.
We're crying about it yesterday. We're like, oh wow, because it makes all of these parts of the show like make sense in a different way and be like the things we were already trying to access for her as a performer, like the way that she can have fun moving from one joke to another, the way that she can like to imagine that as a delight as like of someone who has lived a whole life and is back to experience this moment is like wow. And I have this thought that I haven't performed since yesterday when we discovered this, but I'm like, what if I could like keep that idea? Like, you can't obviously have the idea be front of mind when you're performing, or that's what you'll be performing. But like, I'm about to do my show that I've done over 100 times at JFL, which is like a big comedy festival and matters in the industry or whatever. And I'm also working on a new show, and I'm like having this feeling like, oh, but like if I can be, I'm literally time traveling to this other show, and I get to like do this show that I know people love, that I also love and think is important, but I'm like at a different moment right now. But if I get to be like my 80-year-old self, or like even just my like self today that like wrote this show 2 years ago, performing this show, I get to have a different experience of it if that is like what I'm deciding. And
Wow.
and you can maybe have that all the time when
Yeah.
you're performing anything.
Yeah. Or also, I mean, living.
Yeah.
The reality is like, yeah, the like I'm like trying to like touch what it is that moved me so much. It moved me a lot. You know, it's like, I mean, yeah, it's very much to do with this impermanent thing that is like you can choose to relate to everything like it's slipping through your fingers, or you can choose to relate to everything like it is your opportunity to feel it. Like, because it's like this sense of like having an opportunity to feel something. It's not really related to whether you're going to feel it again or you felt it before. It is just a relationship to experience, right? In and of itself. Which is that thing that happened to me when I went with this, when I was living in. I love that. I'm so excited about that. Wow. I would think about it a lot. But it happened to me when I went to eat with Mark Salmon, Stefan Hannes, and Zoe Brownstone when I was living with them in this house over there. And we went to go eat at my neighbor, the dumpling. And we're eating.
Is it called My Neighbor the Dumpling?
Uh-huh. So it's an amazing name. That's why I've said it to you.
Thank you.
We're eating, and Stefan, I don't know if Stefan is like a practicing Buddhist, but in a way he is. And Mark is definitely a practicing Buddhist. And they both put this fucking hot ass dumpling in their mouth. And they're both like, and I'm like, spit out the dumpling to both of them. They're both doing this at the same time. Like, spit out the dumpling. They're not spitting it out. They're not spitting out the dumpling. I'm going, get that dumpling out. You're burning. And both of them had the same like thing that they said after. They're like, it's an experience. And I was like, it was like just the exact thing I needed to hear in that moment, because it felt whatever. This was probably like, yeah, this was like during my breakup moment. This is like March or something. It's like all these things are going on in my head that are like quite like overwhelming. Like I don't, and I'm like, I think that is something that you can use to stay in something terrible for a long time. No, that's not a useful sort of thing to engage with all the time. But in terms of while you are living something, to engage with it like the opportunity that you have to feel something, to me is revolutionary as like a disposition, which is a thing that's in your daughter's room that me and the guy whose show I'm directing, Lauren's dad, amazing show, I may say, do absolutely go to Edinburgh Fringe. I'm excited about this show. I think you are going to feel, I think you're going to feel moved in ways that you didn't even know a show could get you there. Okay, this is interesting stuff this guy's doing. and may I say urgent. We were in we went to go to Denmark, and we got to be we looked inside your daughter's room, and she's got a handwritten note, if that's okay for me to say, about your daughter.
Please, please. She's got hands.
She wrote a thing that Martha Washington said. Um by hand. She wrote it by on her, and she put it on her mirror. And it's about your disposition. That is like that you cannot choose your condition, but you can engage with your disposition. And it's just like a culmination of this stuff that is like you get to choose how you think about stuff. And this lens that you're offering, this, you're an 80-year-old woman that gets to come back and experience this. Imagine the way that you would engage with it if that were your chance. Every little part. All of a sudden, everything is the thing you're getting to live. Wow. Yeah, it's phenomenal, that idea. Well, and it's similar to the stuff that we are talking about before, that is like they're the arc of knowing. That it is that you want to tell them because it's good. They should know that.
Well, you should tell them actually. I'm interested what you recall from
Nice.
because I just explained this arc of knowing thing that I have been thinking about for a few years. Not really that often, but a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting in the sense that sometimes you have an idea and you know about something, you have it, so it belongs to you in a sense. And that's the beginning part of this arc. And then you forget
And like
it.
that's like adage. Like it's like something you just know, everybody knows. Like it's not even something you pay attention to. It's like it's just like okay, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Something even
Like it takes all kinds, I think is a thing I was thinking about this. It takes all kinds is an adage that I like had heard my whole life and didn't really care about, and it's just like a thing.
right. It's like when it goes from words to feeling, basically what we're talking about.
But sometimes first, like it's like the arc of knowing is like you know it and it's just like something you accept, and then you like reject it and you're like, does it really take all kinds? Because actually, I don't like all kinds, and I think some kinds are bad and mean.
Yeah.
And I think whatever. And then you like are like you're walking alone in the woods and you're like, wow, but actually if that kind didn't,
Then how would I know?
then what would it be? It would be different anyway. Wait a second. Maybe it takes all kinds. You discover it as though it's your own.
Yeah.
And then you're like, guys, I gotta tell you something.
Yeah. Yeah. That is, guys, I got to tell you something, and you have to hear this quick.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody else is like, everybody else is hearing it, unless it's your like dearest friend Lara who like can hear my it takes all kinds like it's new. You have a friend like that probably.
Why not?
You have like some friends like that.
This is to do with my forgetfulness, maybe. That I'm going, how is the way? How is the way that I can engage with music like I'm hearing it for the first time? When it's obvious that it's not something I'm hearing for the first time.
Mm.
But there is like a mechanism at play in my very brain that is like, shut up.
That's good mechanism. It's one of my favorite ones.
But it's to do with something like quite stupid, that could be engaged that way, potentially, maybe. It's like, what?
But you personally have that for you have like given some people permission to that place, and then also you can also be like the hell like you don't have that for every single thing everybody is saying, but you try, but you know it's there, and you know it's like a thing that you could give someone access to, and sometimes you try that in cool ways, but like you do also like reject, like have this. Yeah, it's nice. That's nice about you. You're aware of the button.
That set me off.
Yeah. And also it's like a tripwire, but you're like also like maybe I can trip over that wire in this.
Yeah. And I like to trip also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking right now, remembering when you said that about your mom, that sometimes you try to think of her as a nice lady that comes.
You know who said that first was Kima Bob, we must say.
Oh, and
Kima
that's another
Bob
show that
told
you should go
me
watch.
that. Yeah, and that's another show we said we should go watch. Kima Bob said to me after I had just seen my mom and she had just seen her mom, we had been having a conversation. She said, it's really helpful for me to sometimes think about my mom as just like a nice lady. and that is it has been incredibly helpful for me to have those words. That's another example, because I was kind of thinking around that subject,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Kima Bob, another person from outside, could say those words to me, and now I just have a different portal into that thought.
Yesterday I read something that was about so I'm always when I watch a video, my Instagram algorithm, sorry to bring that up, is absolutely riddled with some of the most amazing things that you can expect out there. It is saying to me stuff about consciousness, it's saying to me stuff about spiritual bypassing, it's saying to me stuff about how, like, the intricacies of relating. Like, it is saying to me stuff. I'm having real thinking people engaging with big ideas on my Instagram. It's hard to get off for that reason. Not because it's like there's a sort of dopamine thing, but also what I do is I read the comments on like these things, and people are having like full on discussions, like philosophical, interesting discussions. I watched this video that was about consciousness. This guy kind of saying like the gist of it is like the reality, like I don't really understand when people start talking about quantum mechanics in order to talk about consciousness and stuff. It's like my subconscious is sleepy because it's like there's like this sense of like, what are you freaking talking about? And I also don't think that's my way in, maybe. So then I already can sense that like I want to understand so I can like try to go toward the cable that I'm tripping on, but like it's not coming naturally to me that I'm like, yeah, it doesn't go in that way. Anyways, but there was something about like the idea that we're all one as an idea. Someone in the comments going, it's not useful for me to think about that while I am living in a way that is separate from other people, because what that like the idea that love, I hope I'm able to say this, the idea that love is something that has to happen like in relation to each other somehow is I have to disqualify that relational nature in order to accept this we're all one stuff. This thing that you just said about Kima Bob letting you like understand this, if we're all one all the time, if we're not like separate and stuff, you don't get to have this sort of thing where from outside you get to engage with an idea.
Okay, excuse me while
Yes.
I point out that actually
Yes.
this is like the whole walk through the woods, and then you're like, it takes all kinds. Like, it takes all kinds actually to reflect the kind you are back to you. And also it's all kinds.
Yes.
Okay, I have to also say
Yeah.
that I had recently this experience where I go on vacation with my family to the Iron Age. And when I go on vacation to the Iron Age, my entire worldview and place in the world is challenged because
Yes, continue, Abby.
because I think like basically the main way that I can feel valued in the world and everyone can agree, I'm thinking, like, well, actually are people are paying me to think. People are asking me what I think. People are sitting quietly in rooms to hear what I think. People are like being like, "Do you have any thoughts on this?" And boy, can I. Um I
Yeah.
can.
Yes.
Um it's a thing I think I do well. It's a thing that delights me. I'm thinking about stuff. When I'm thinking about stuff, I'm thinking, it's crazy. We can just think about anything. I love to think. Then I go to the Iron Age. I don't think a goddamn thought.
Wow.
I don't think I don't think anything. I'm just sitting there and I'm in the world, and it feels good. And it brings up some concern later that maybe all this thinking I'm doing is powering a machine that I don't necessarily think is like the machine that ought to be powered.
I mean, my God, if I can agree on understanding this. my absolute God about this. I know exactly what you mean by that.
Wow, go on. I love this is also a thing we've recently discovered that this is really helpful. The way that our friendship can be really helpful for me is for me to say something and then be like, "Can you tell me what I said?" Or like when we were just in Cornwall, we had this amazing creative experience, and then I was like, "Can you just tell me what happened? What you saw happen to me, or like what happened?" And that is really an incredible gift to have in
Yeah,
a friendship.
it really is. And also, you were so smart in asking me because that was like, that's really the opportunity you give yourself. And I should employ that also. I mean, I do kind of, I do. I go sort of like, yeah, it's like asking for specifics when you get a compliment, for example. You go, and what exactly is it that you're interested what is it that you like about my face? Um, but it's what you just said. Okay, what I can hear or what I can reflect back
Yeah,
is
what do you feel like my absolute God, yeah, about that?
well, because I mean, it is the we rest easy in some things as you and me and people who think
These thinking folks.
these thinking guys who value this. Not that there's like this. I have this conversation with Lawrence, whose show I'm directing, because there's something about like where individually we get knowing. You and I clearly get knowing from doing the rounds in the brain, doing them. We go around, we look, we grab something, we take a look at it. And most of my relationships, I'd say, that I value the most, the friendships I value the most, I'm doing that. I'm going around and looking. And oh, I talked about this with my lovely friend who I love, Mia, who is like, oh, and maybe I shouldn't say last name, but Nikki, can you bleep? Can you bleep? Well, my friend Mia, who we were talking about discernment, which was the theme of the podcast that you will never hear. And I'm fine with now, by the way.
Wow.
By the way, now I'm pretty good about it. Is I was trying to tell her how much I'm engaging with this idea, how much I'm liking this idea. And she was like talking to me about like, it's like distinguish, no? And I was like, it isn't like distinguish. We started talking about what is the difference between discern and distinguish. And why I'm interested in discernment is because discernment is in an emotional, like it is in an emotional world. It distinguishes between things in the emotional realm. It is about the language of emotions most of the time. You are trying to like look at what are the sort of intricacies that differentiate feeling when you're discerning. And when you're distinguishing, you are differentiating based on other stuff. Don't have the answer to that. Uninterested in it right now. You can be a distinguished person. You can't be a discerned person. There's an active thing going on with, which is why I think it's in the realm of emotions. It's changing stuff, sort of in flux.
But isn't discernment is because that's about your categorization of things for a benefit you have decided. When you are discerning,
yeah,
it is for a purpose. When you are distinguishing, you are setting apart.
Claro, it's outside in versus inside out. Discernment is only relevant because you are the only one who can discern. But distinguish, that's why it can be something that somebody is distinguished. It's something we all agree on. Discern, it's something that you engage with. The intricacies are up to you. They are depending on how you feel about it. This is what I think.
I think distinguished doesn't have to be something we all agree on.
But somebody can be a distinguished person.
But I think it is about separating that thing out rather than rather than like organizing your own thinking. Somebody can be a distinguished person, but you can also distinguish, like pull out a thought that's like, oh, this is part of this. And I can see that this is playing a part in this thing. I think it's like distinguish. I don't know. I'm also like, this is the kind of thing where I'm like, I'm sticking with this because I love you and you interest me. But like, this is not the way I'm thinking about things most of the time.
So this is what's interesting about the place that you occupy in my life versus the place that, for example, I would say that I have friends where I'm doing this sort of distinguishing, maybe discerning work together. That's like sort of like really like nook and cranny is the interest.
Mm.
And that is more to do with sort of categorizing, which is people who get sort of a sturdy sense of self from understanding of the mind. And I definitely get that. Like, that is a place where I go to kind of have my sturdy sense of self, which is what is interesting to me when somebody says to me that my brain, what my sister said to me in Cornwall, she said, like, well, also because my sister doesn't value exactly that part as much as I value it in me. She's like, the thing that is special about you, Leda, is like 30% of it is your brain or whatever, she said. And then I go, what the hell? I'm going 80% of it is my brain for me. That there is other sort of like, that there is a, because what I think that you are saying in that thing is that all of these things remove us, thinking removes us from the present. It's impossible that it does it. You need to have a relationship to the future and the past, present, in order to think. You're removed. You're one degree even, but you're 1 degree removed from what is exactly happening now.
Yeah,
You're
I think
oh,
thinking is a place you can go. Thinking for me, when you talk about the way that like you are looking at things and like you're like looking in every like I feel like it's like I'm the Little Mermaid. It's a cavern. Thinking is a cavern I can swim to and everything already exists there and I can pick it up and look at it. But like it's there. Like I feel like what I think about comes from a knowing and then I already know it and then I can put thoughts on top of it to try to describe it, and that is a pleasure for me. It is a pleasure for me to try to decide how to say the thing that I know, and also with people I trust, like to like challenge those thoughts. And but like it's like to challenge it for me is like to pick up the thing I know and like look at it in a new way. But I feel like it's like I'm not deciding what I think. I'm just thinking about what I know.
hmm.
And that feels like what?
Right now, what you're doing right now, when you look up
Yeah.
and you slow it down, no, for a second,
Mm.
because you're like, you sort of are hitting it exact, but there is like some world in which maybe there are some stuff that you need to add in order to like to get it to a button point where you go, this is exactly what I mean. No?
Well, when I looked up just now, I was thinking about sitting by the lake at the Iron Age
Yeah.
and having the thought occur to me, I am not thinking. And so then it's like, and I feel good and I feel fine and I don't feel like something is lacking, even though like that is like one like a main talent that my other talents are really wrapped up in. You know, like when I'm in the Iron Age, also it's very clear, like I'm also building skills there that I didn't have before. That's also interesting for me. Like I'm like, this time we went, it was our fourth time, and we go and we live in this place where we pretend we live in the Iron Age. And I knew this time that I wasn't going to be thinking. So like going into it, I was like, I got to do all my thinking beforehand. When the first couple times I went, I was like, oh, maybe I can work on this bit because I'm not going to be doing anything. I'm going to be chopping wood. Like I can like turn some things around in my mind. I can try to figure this out. I can at least run this 5 minutes so that I really know it. No, I'm not doing anything like that. I'm not like having ideas. I'm not working on something I'm not trying to remember. But this time I knew that that was going to be the case. And I felt like a new sense of like real liberation from thought because I wasn't even trying to like remind my, like, I don't know. There was just, I had prepared for not thinking.
Yeah. What does it make you feel about like,
Um, it makes me feel like I was thinking this morning when I was writing my morning pages, like, um, that maybe like that's what meditation is for. Like just like I
yeah,
have like a practice of absence of thinking, but like I do like instead of like having a meditation practice once like every morning or something, I'm like doing it like a week.
the Iron
And
Age.
then I go back, yeah, and I'm like, I don't know. It's interesting to me. I also think I'm thinking good thoughts. Like now I'm back in it and I'm like, wow, not thinking for a while and thinking about how maybe I shouldn't be thinking so much has made me be a really good thinker. Like I'm
Well, I
thinking
mean,
awesome now.
this is the thing about the word interesting. That's obviously the thing that Maya brings up with me. That is like that I am using it as a sort of defense mechanism to not engage with the feeling because I am more comfortable in my thinking brain. I am using interesting left and right. You guys. Now I have a sort of like when it pops up, I do have a sense of like, what am I doing with this? Like it's not only like a free word for me now because Maya repeated Maya wonderful show at the Edinburgh Fringe.
Wonderful.
10:40.
We talked about it for 6 minutes
You can't
each.
even believe the amount of stuff we said about it. Gorgeous, funny.
Funny, so silly, incredible to be around. What the hell? Get in there.
Get in there. 10:40 The Pleasant. And also then all these shows will be in London and they'll tour. So look them up. And she said to me, there's a something for you to look at there, basically. But the amount of times that she repeats it to me, she goes, Is it interesting? I'm like, yeah, it is interesting, but I'm talking about maybe sexual violence, okay? um, the sense that I have is like, right, like it facilitates my being with something when I engage with it as interesting.
I feel like it's like a bookmark. It's like, okay,
A dog ear.
it's a dog ear. Marty Gleeson, 7:15. The Edinburgh Fringe. It's very good. Um, so,
It's an
but
underline, yeah, which you come back to.
yeah,
Oh,
and
underline.
allows you to continue living your life without. So then what the other option is, one option is you can stop and you can walk through that door and you can be like, "Oh, that's the door I said was interesting. I better stop whatever I'm doing and go through that now." And sometimes that's what you should do. And that I think is like what Maya, when she says that to you, she's like, "You're going to go through the door. There's the door." But like, and she is wise and smart. But also, I really understand you can't always go through that door. It's kind of like putting a little post-it note on that door, being like, I gotta come back to that door later because of the feeling it brought. But I'm like, now I'm doing this. Now I'm going like, now I'm doing a different thing. I'm turning down the corner of this page.
Yeah. But there is something about the ways in which we employ our mind without, I mean, it does feel like an undiscerned employment. Like it's like this is what I do. And when you are a person who just does, but you're also a person who thinks a lot, those two things kind of become like they the word that comes up for me is pathetic. And I don't mean that there. I think it's the word that comes up. Like there is like because it's like well in my therapy I had this sense that like I'm not talking about being hard of hearing. I'm not talking about being hard of hearing. And I am a quite dismissive person by nature. I'm just sort of like it's okay. Literally everything's okay and it really is okay because of my disposition does sort of let me engage with everything like everything's okay and it is okay. When I start going, let me discern the stuff that is or isn't okay for me and how I am and whether I'm stressed or whatever. When I start doing that, what happens to me is that I have no longer at my disposal the tool that let me not look at my hard of hearingness. Because
Mm.
if I am discerning all sorts of stuff, guess what, girl? It's time. Because I'm not going to be the girl who is doing all of this work and has this hard of hearing thing that I don't look at and tell myself, no, I just don't look at stuff. No, 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 no. I look at stuff. I look at everything. So then, okay, come on, let's look. So there is sort of like this thing about sitting with the feelings that opens the door to sitting with the feelings. And that is the thing that I sort of employ my thinking often to kind of like, I don't know, when you notice it's a defense mechanism at some point, is the thing that is scary about going to the Iron Age for me. Then I go,
Mm.
wait, the thing I engage with as me is the thing that's a defense mechanism. Not only, of course, it's many things, but it operates in one way as a defense mechanism.
I think, well, yeah, what I think like for me, the word defense mechanism doesn't feel like the thing I'm using thinking for, but it's like it feels like I'm throwing a party and dropping confetti for no reason. Like I'm like like ripping up shit and throwing it other. I'm like we could clean that up later. Like
Wait, no, I don't get it.
like like I don't think I'm thinking myself out of hard thoughts. I think I'm like smut. I mean, that's always the thing. I'm like, I come back. I'm like, I think I got an answer for this. I think I can find an answer for this. Let me see. Let me see. There's this thing that in the Iron Age I was not doing, and then I found a use for my thought. So I played with this kid, this 3-year-old kid. He wanted to play Spider-Man. And we're in the Iron Age, so I was like, "Listen, buddy, it's arachnid guy, okay?" No, it's that I was like, hell yes, and I played Spider-Man for so long, and we like hid in this like corner behind a loom, and we shot like webs at a witch and like all this stuff, and I was just like, I had attention out the ass for this in the Iron Age. I was like, I could play this my whole life. It's actually no problem. Meanwhile, I'm thinking like this was hard for me when my kids were little and they wanted to play like this and I wanted to like do literally anything else, even though I know one of my main gifts in this world is like playing and improvising and like getting whatever. Even but when my kids wanted to do it, oh my God, painful.
Hmm.
Then I was at but I didn't really think I was just like interesting. This is so easy for me to write right now. Interesting. Which is like it's not that interesting because it's a thing I've thought I'm very aware of. It's harder to play with your own kids than it is to play with literally anybody else's. It's harder because they're your own kids and there's so many things. I know that. I know that. So when I was playing with him, I wasn't even really thinking. I was just like, wow, I'm really just playing, not even really thinking. That's it. That's the whole thing. Then later, this kid says it in front of my kid, in front of my 13-year-old. And she says, and we were like, I was like, yeah, we just played Spider-Man for a really long time, for like an hour and a half or something. And she goes, you would have never done that with us. And I said, yeah, because I thought she was saying it was harder for me to play with. I thought she was saying this thing. And she's like, no, no, you would play with us, but you wouldn't have let it be Spider-Man because it's like a Marvel, because like you would have made it something like wholesome and like annoying
Hmm.
for us. Like you wouldn't have just played the thing we wanted to play. You would have like made it like ruined it, like sanitized it. And then I was like, like whatever. I didn't even think. And then later, I was sitting in there with her. She was asleep, and I was like, I just was like being alone for a minute, and I had to think. I'm gonna let myself. I'm gonna try because I haven't been thinking. I haven't been thinking all week. I'm gonna fire up my thinking around this. And then I thought about that. I was like, that's true. I would have like made it like if we were playing something, I would have been like, and then I don't know, there was something that was like resistant in me to doing um the things you could buy action figures for or whatever. Anything
Yeah.
like I wanted to make something up. I wanted
Yeah.
to make something up so I would ruin it by like making it into something whatever. And with this kid, I could just try to the best of
Spider-Man.
my ability to like be
Yep.
Spider-Man, shoot from my wrists, do it all correct. He was delighted.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. And it was just like I got this thought from thinking that. I was like, do you get anything from keeping that from your kid, from like trying to steer their thing? And my original thought, like the thought that I had then was like, no, that's probably like not um like I probably should have just played Spider-Man with them. Like, and then I kind of later got like, maybe not. Because now I have a kid who can say that to me and we can have this conversation. Like, but like, I don't know. I don't know. But those were like the two thoughts I had in the Iron Age. And I had to like fire up my thinking. And when I first fired up my thinking and I got, wow, I guess that maybe I was wrong in that when I was like, but I was like 25 or something. Like I
Yeah.
was like not 25, 28 or something when this would have been happening with her. And I was like really desperately trying to do everything right. And in my mind, doing something right was playing with her in like complete imagination land and like whatever. And that like,
Yeah, you're also deciding what is good imagination land and what is bad imagination land.
sure,
But
but I'm deciding that from a place of like
goodness.
and whatever. And now I get to have this 13-year-old who maybe is literally only thinking this and discerning that from this conversation. Because,
Now.
yeah, because she got the mom she got, and what we were always talking about this shit, and now she knows to think about that shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like
I had the thought while you were just saying that of like, it is in the same school of thought to decide that something is good and something is bad, in the same thing of like the what we started talking about, which is like the controlling sort of discerning, like the using discernment for diagnoses is the trap. That is like, there is a good way to do things, there's a bad way to do things in terms of thinking, in terms of imagination stuff. Like it's like, this is like, you wait long enough and you see that it's not bad or good, that what you did gave, it's actually, the way I feel about it, in the end it's good.
oh, so it's not bad or good, but it's good.
That's what I would say. It's not bad or good, but it's actually good. And at the end of it, you find that out if you wait long enough. Because
Right.
it's like, for me to go with the defense mechanism is also killing it. It's also 8 ways of knowing these are them and that's it. And it's like, that's not a useful thing because it's dead now.
Right. And it's like, it feels to me like thinking isn't a defense mechanism when you're like walking around what you've got like a museum and you're really willing to like look at the things that are there.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing, that if you're thinking from knowing, then it's a whole different ball game. That's the end of our podcast,
Wow. Interesting.
isn't it?
Interesting. Pretty interesting stuff.
This is why also, like, when you start thinking with other people, it's like, yeah, you get to walk in their knowings and then you go, wow.
Yeah. Pretty basically what I think the big idea today is it's good we're not alone on this planet, even though all together we are.
And it takes all kinds of us to do this sort of stuff like
You
this.
know what? I think this podcast.
No, it was a walk around, man. It was a walk around.
It was a walk around, man. It was a walk around. You would have loved the last one. I think you're probably liked this one too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Let's see if it saves.
Let's see if it saves. Rala.
Dun, dun.
Rala and
baby.
baby. Dun, dun. The big idea. Dun, dun.
The big
Rala and
idea.
baby. I think, and it was maybe Impermanence. Let's see.
The big idea.